There's a pigeon on the sidewalk in front of you, walking the way pigeons walk, head bobbing back and forth with every step. You've seen it 1,000 times. Except that head is not bobbing. It's perfectly still. Watch in slow motion and you'll see it. The head locks in one spot in the air, the body walks on underneath, then the head snaps forward and locks again. It's the body that moves. You've been watching it backwards your whole life. And the reason is even stranger. He doesn't walk like that to keep his balance. He walks like that to see, because without the trick, the world would smear into a blur in front of him. Here's the strangest part. You have the exact same problem, and your eyes are quietly fixing it for you right now, in a way you've never once caught them doing. First, though, the pigeon. Everyone has a theory about the pigeon walk, and they're all wrong in the same comfortable way. Maybe it's rhythm, some birds just strut. Maybe it's balance, a counterweight for those skinny little legs. Maybe he's pumping himself forward, the way you swing your arms. All perfectly sensible. None of them survive a slow-motion camera. Film a walking pigeon and step through the footage frame by frame, and the illusion collapses. Two scientists, Knight Dunlap and Orville Maurer, did exactly that back in 1930, and what they found has been confirmed over and over since. The walk has two phases. In one, the head shoots forward fast. In the other, and this is the part that matters, the head stops, completely. It hangs in space, rock steady, while the body catches up underneath. What looks like bobbing is a head standing still twice in every stride while everything around it moves. That quietly kills the obvious answers. A counterweight that spends half its time frozen is not a counterweight. A rhythm that stops dead twice per stride is not a rhythm. If the movement came from walking, the head would move with the walk, and instead it fights the walk, step after step after step. Something else is going on, and in the 1970s, one scientist in Canada figured out how to ask the bird directly. Science had suspected the eyes for a while. In 1975, a researcher named Mark Friedman published work in Nature arguing that vision, not walking, was steering the pigeon's head. Suggestive, but not settled. What settled it was one of the great low-tech experiments in animal science, run by Barry Frost at Queen's University in Ontario. He put a pigeon on a tiny treadmill. Published in 1978, and the logic was gorgeous. On a treadmill, the bird walks, legs moving, body working, but the room around him stays exactly where it is. If head bobbing comes from walking, it should carry on as usual. The bobbing vanished, legs going, head calm and level like a commuter on a moving walkway. The instant the world stopped sliding past his eyes, the pigeon stopped bobbing. There's only one way to read that, and it's the hinge of this whole story. The head movement was never about the legs, it's about the eyes. That ridiculous walk is something a pigeon does in order to see. Here's the piece you're missing. A pigeon can barely move his eyes. Bird eyes are enormous for their skulls, so big there's hardly any room left for the muscles that would swivel them. Yours dart around freely inside their sockets. His are close to bolted in place. So where you move your eyes, he has to move everything. His head is his eyeball. Owls take the same problem to its absurd conclusion. An owl's eyes aren't even balls, they're tubes, wedged into the skull so tightly they cannot move at all. That famous head swivel, the one that goes most of the way around, it isn't a party trick. It's an eyeball on a stalk, doing what the eyeball can't. Now add motion. A camera that moves while the shutter is open takes a smeared picture, and an eye that moves while it's watching sees a smeared world. For a pigeon crossing a sidewalk full of shoes and dogs and rolling crumbs, smear is the difference between lunch and being lunch. So he does the only thing his body allows. He throws his head forward, that's the thrust, then nails it to a fixed point in space and lets his body walk on beneath it, and that's the hold. During the hold, his view is perfectly stabilized. A still photograph, sharp to the edges. Then another thrust, another frozen frame. Reinhold Necker at Ruhr University Bochum reviewed decades of this research in 2007, and the picture holds up. The bob is thrust and hold is where the seeing happens. Slow down and look at what that means. The pigeon's world is not smooth footage. It's a slideshow. Snap, hold. Snap, hold. A deck of sharp, still pictures, flipped fast enough to pass for motion. You're allowed to find that alien. You shouldn't, because your eyes are running the pigeon's trick right now while you watch this. Human eyes don't glide across a scene, they jump. Sharp little hops called saccades, roughly 3 of them every second, tens of thousands of them a day. Between one landing point and the next, your eye is moving so fast that the image hitting your retina is pure smear. So why have you never seen the smear? Because your brain deletes it. During every jump, vision is switched down, the blurred frames are cut, and the gap is stitched over so cleanly you can't catch it even now that you know. Scientists call it saccadic suppression. You can even catch the cover-up in the act. Stand in front of a mirror and flick your gaze from your left eye to your right eye and back. You will never, ever see your own eyes move. A friend standing next to you sees them dart perfectly well. The movement is right there, in plain view of everyone but you. Add up all those little cuts, and for a real measurable slice of your waking day, you are functionally blind. Nothing reaches you, and you have never missed it. Hold the 2 animals side by side. The pigeon stabilizes the picture with his neck. You stabilize it with an editor. 2 completely different machines, built around the same secret. No animal can afford to watch the world smear. Once you know what the bob really is, you start seeing the same problem solved everywhere, each species with its own engineering. A heron hunting in the shallows holds his head unnaturally still above the water, while his body coils below, because the strike is aimed from that locked, stable picture. A kestrel hovering over a motorway hangs in the wind, wings and tail working furiously, head pinned in space almost to the millimeter, reading the grass below for the twitch of a mouse. Then there's the chicken. Hold a chicken gently and move the body around, and the head stays locked in midair, as if mounted on gimbals. Farmers have known it forever. The internet turned it into a genre, and in 2013 Mercedes built a television ad around live chickens, because a bird's neck was the most convincing image of stability their engineers could point to. And plenty of birds barely bob at all. Gulls mostly don't. Ducks mostly don't. Researchers have found the head bob in dozens of bird families and not in others, and exactly why one species needs the trick while its neighbor skips it is still being worked out. That's the honest edge of the science. The hold phase is settled, the full map is not. Which brings you back one last time to the sidewalk. The animal world is full of tricks hiding in plain sight like this one, and if they get under your skin, stay close. Tomorrow you'll pass him again, doing the walk everyone laughs at. Only now you know that nothing about him is bobbing. He is holding the world still, one frozen picture at a time. The street, the crumbs, the forest of moving legs, a slideshow of perfectly sharp photographs, and in one of them there's you, frozen mid-step, held completely still in the eye of a bird you never once looked at properly.